Hello networkers, and welcome back to another episode of Ask the Network Engineer, where I will answer one of your questions. And this question comes from Vignesh, and he has a question related to diversity in the networking field. After achieving the expert level certification in the Cisco track, do you recommend to do another expert level certification in the Cisco track, like data center, collaboration, security? Or do you recommend to have a variety of knowledge by going for F5, Citrix, programming for network engineers, Checkpoint, Linux, SDN, Juniper, etc.? What do you recommend for a network engineer with 10 plus years experience in Cisco-based networking? Great question. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So let's talk about the certification track. So if you have your CCIE, the question is, should you pursue other CCIEs? Or maybe the CCDE, the design track, or maybe the Cisco Certified Architect certification. So this really is based on two factors that you need to keep in mind. One is if this is a personal goal for you. So if you really like to be certified, it's your goal to get all the certifications, then go for it. There are a lot of people, not a lot of people, there are some people that have multiple CCIEs out there. Some people have their CCIE and their CCDE. And basically there's 5 people, more or less, it's probably a little bit more, probably like 7 people, 5 or 7 people in the world that has the Cisco Certified Architect certification. So I can answer this question in terms of should you pursue other certifications by giving you what I am doing. So once again, I have been a CCIE for 10 years. I will reach my 15-year mark this January. So January 2016, I will be a CCIE for 15 years. So I've been doing networking for 20 years. That's a big number. And so the question is, what am I doing for certifications? Nothing. It does not provide any additional value at all. First off, the certifications, the CCNA, CCNP, and the CCIE, they are great for kind of representing your experience. It enhances what your experience is. It gets your foot into the door. That's what I learned about certifications. That if I want to apply for different jobs, I put my CCIE logo on there, my 10-year logo or 15-year, and I can easily get a job interview very, very quickly. Get a phone call and the process starts. That's what I learned. But those certifications are not practical at all. I remember my CCIE written and lab exam, even all of the recertification exams that I've taken over the past 10 years. None of them is practical. I've been in practical environments for a long time and I know what works, what doesn't work. The tests don't do none of that. So once I got my CCIE, I was very happy with that. I started to study for security, but I lost interest in that. It didn't provide me any particular value because if I apply for different jobs, your salary is not going to drastically increase because you have 2 CCIEs or 3 or 4 or a CCDE. That's not going to happen. Also keep in mind that with certifications, they are very, very pricey. As I talked about in the last episode about, in the speed round episode, one particular user made a comment about that these certifications is like Cisco just does it for the money. And I made a comment that yes, it is about the money. Well, getting your CCIE or your CCDE, you're looking at spending a lot of money just for the equipment that is needed. Some people spend up to $5,000 on the equipment. That's very, very expensive. Furthermore, the exam is not cheap. The written exam is $400. I know because I took that like 2 years ago. That's very pricey, even being recertified for a written exam with 100 questions. And the lab exam, if you're starting out, the lab exam is around $1,500. And you're going to likely take that exam 2 or 3 times because most people fail the exam on their first attempt. That's a lot of money that you will have to invest in doing so. So that is very, very pricey. Now the other certification is the Cisco Certified Architect certification. This one blows my mind, and this really is where Cisco lost their soul. That certification is $15,000. Yes, let me say it one more time because you thought it probably was a typo that I just said. $15,000 for that exam. It is definitely about the money. It's not about the credibility of that certification. So even if you did get your Cisco Certified Architect, your salary is not going to drastically increase because you have that. And I learned about that very quickly within the first 1 or 2 years once I got my CCIE. So my recommendations for you guys, which is what I have always said since the very beginning, is yes, get your CCNA. That's basically starting out. Get your CCNP. That's kind of like the mid-level. And then get your CCIE. From there, stop. If you want to pursue the other certifications as a personal goal, perfect. Go for it. But doing that is not going to enhance your career at all. Now, what you should do instead is exactly what Vignesh talked about, which is diversity in the networking field. Because guess what? Networks today, they are not 100% Cisco anymore. So it is recommended to learn about other networking products. Now, routers and switches will typically be Cisco, so that's a good thing, which is what the certifications are really focused on, routing and switching. Great. Even with data centers, Cisco is very great with that, with their Nexus switches. Now, with security, there are a lot of different companies that are out there that are really good and is what companies are using. And these are companies like Palo Alto Networks, FortiGate firewall appliance. There's Juniper, Checkpoint, SonicWall. So it is recommended to learn those other networking products. With load balancing, you have F5 for local and for global load balancing. So getting that kind of experience is also very helpful. There's Citrix. So, and of course, can't forget, there is Riverbed with the WAN optimization. So those are different products that are not Cisco, but having that experience will make your resume very, very enticing. So think about this for a second, which is pretty impressive though. So if you have your certifications, you got your CCIE, you have 10 years experience, and you have other networking experience with different products, that looks very, very nice on the resume. So that's something that you should definitely do instead in regards to getting more certifications. And yes, you can learn about other things such as programming. One of the programming languages that you can learn is Python. Python is very easy to learn, especially if you're starting out. I mentioned in a previous episode that I learned Perl, and I did Perl and Expect, which is a TCL-based script language. So you can definitely learn Python, which can look very enticing on your resume for learning to do different operations like logging on to routers and switches, pulling configurations, or pushing configs up to those particular devices. You can definitely do that as well, which can look very nice as well on your resume. And yes, you can learn about SDN if that is applicable for your environment, but I did a video talking about SDN, so definitely check that out for that information. So that is some of the things that you can do if you are a CCIE and you have 10 plus years of experience. And that is to get diversity with the networking products that is out there. So you have Cisco, but also learn about other products, how to design them, how to configure them, and how to support them. So that is exactly what I'm doing today. I have not certified with any other certification ever since my CCIE back in 2001. So that's a long time. And I just learned about different networking products, how to configure them, how to deploy them for my customers. That is what I've been focusing on, and that's what companies really, really like. So certifications are good because it gets your foot into the door. I will always say that. They have a place, they have a value. But getting multiple certifications, well, that's more of a personal achievement, more of a personal goal that I want to get 2 or 4 CCIEs. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are great people that do have that particular status. So, but for me, I got a CCIE. That was my personal goal, and I was very happy with that. Personal and professional goal. But beyond that, I didn't see anything else that getting 2 would make my career better. It was basically the same. And I've seen that even to this very, very day. So that's why I tell you guys, get these certifications. That's one particular thing to do. But you also want to focus on what you can do for practical experience, because I tell you that also matters. That's what companies look at. So having both of these things together is where you want to be. And we are done with this episode. So thank you very much, Vignesh, for the great question. It was kind of a change of pace to talk about some of the next steps if some of you guys have been doing networking for about 10 years. So you can use some of those recommendations for what you can do next. So thank you again for that question. And as always, I want to hear from you guys. So post your questions below in the comments below here about anything in the networking field or being a network engineer, and your question will come up in a future episode on this channel. Actually, pretty soon I'll be doing another speed round, because again, I have a lot of great questions and I want to answer those questions as quickly as I can. So look for that pretty soon. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like this video and check out our training products on our website. That would mean a lot. Go to routerhub.net and see what we provide in terms of practical training. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.